I mean, people get it wrong because they think they're like, "Okay, my lower body has to go first," and then, like, crank their hips, and then everything just goes out in front of them,
It's
and
like a spinny top, right? As opposed
yeah,
to a move.
and you just got they gotta feel the weight of the club. You just gotta just let it happen. Don't stop doing all this, like, "I gotta hit it."
Kyla Inaba, I couldn't be more excited to chat with you. The PGA of BC podcast is rolling. We're cruising. And as I just mentioned off camera, man, was your name at the top of the list of interview people? You're wildly hardworking and a patron of the game, and I welcome you to the PGA of BC podcast.
Thank you, Derek Orr. Happy to be here and, share some stories on
Oh,
this
yeah, isn't that the
podcast.
truth? The
Yeah.
the thing that always happens. I mean, what do we do, or golf pros do when we get together? Once you get through the fluff of how was your year, how's the family, what's going on, then you get into it's just story time, right?
It is. Yes,
And always turns
absolutely.
into some of the best stuff. I when preparing for this, I just kind of thought back to the origin story of where we first met, and it was
Yeah.
Shaughnessy.
Was it Shaughnessy? Okay, it wasn't
Yes,
G&G.
I think so.
Okay, probably. UBC
And it
days for
was
me.
for altered golf, right?
Yes, altered course. Yeah,
Altered course. Yeah,
altered
that's right.
course.
Altered course. And it was Canadian Ninjas, correct?
We were the Canadian Ninjas. Most people were like, "You were on that Big Break show, weren't you?" And I was like, it was the one time they did a speed golf show, and it was called Altered Course." So yeah, that was probably it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I would suspect that a few people will now slide over to YouTube and see what they can find. Talk to me a bit about that experience at kind of an interesting pouring point in your career. I want to say it was
15, I think.
2015.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So 2015, my friend Eileen Kelly, who's from the islands, you would know her. We were teammates at UBC. Then we were playing professionally down in like Phoenix together, and that was the hub of like, the Golf Channel would come and kind of do their auditions. We were like, why don't we try for this? And it was a team show, so we were training together. We sent our little video package in, and we called ourselves the Canadian Ninjas. And then we got a call back, and then we flew to San Diego, and then we're going to Jamaica. And so it was fun. It was a really cool experience. At the time, obviously the big break was like rolling, right? Like twice a year probably. So it was cool. We were really like, this could be our break. This could like get us to the next level. It could get us a sponsorship. Um and did it? Not really. But it was a fun experience. And just a different type of competition, right? As a professional at the time, like a playing professional, you're just looking for growth and experience and pressure and all those things. And so that was like the ultimate athletic golf experience, which is kind of like how I like to roll. Let's be an athlete, let's be a golfer, let's put it all together, and let's put some added pressure with the camera following you and chasing you through the hills of Jamaica. So
Let's just film it.
yeah. So that was cool. It was a good experience. It feels like a lifetime ago though.
You bet. And it wasn't, I mean, 10, 11 years ago. And I wonder, just listening to you talk about it, if we look at it 10 years ago, you know, it was more leaned toward maybe your big break to get a sponsor's exemption or get into an event or whatever, and then let your skill take over. Fast forward 11 years, it might have been a different horse in the YouTube world, right? And like content creator, or just get like you look at some of the tours out there, or the influencer tours, or whatever you want to call it. It's fascinating, and what a career path that can be. And it doesn't even have to be 4, 5, 10 years. It can be a year or two, just in the limelight, traveling and playing golf. It's funny how different it is, but the content is essentially the same, right?
Yeah. 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 It would be so interesting to do that nowadays, right? Because it really was the first, like, the big break was like one of the
Yep.
first reality shows even. period, across the board. And so to be an athletic reality show, whatever, whatever. Um, but yeah, now with YouTube, I feel like it could be a totally different experience and it could potentially propel people maybe even further. I don't know, right? There's a little
Well, in
more
a
reach
different
right
path for
now.
sure, right?
Yeah,
And if you
totally.
think about, and I'm excited to kind of get into your origin story of, what got you into the game. Um, but also the industry of golf is far different than it ever was. And I'm like, I couldn't be more of a fan of this golf industry now versus, 10 years ago where it was you either taught, you either played, or you were the head pro or whatever that path was. Now it's, I mean, what do you want to do? And so I think it's a cool thing in that getting eyeballs on you and putting your name out there as you do it's a different beast now,
100%. Yes.
right?
Yes,
So we're
absolutely.
going back. You're an Okanagan girl,
Yep.
yes, right?
Yep.
Born and
Yep.
raised in
Kelowna,
Kelowna.
you got it.
So talk to me about the first 15 years of your golf life.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, born and raised in Kelowna, did some like junior stuff up at Gallagher's Canyon. Um, didn't really get into it until I was grade 7 field trip. We went to the driving range and, the pro there just told my teacher like, oh yeah, she's got some potential. The teacher called my parents and was like, hey, yeah, the pro said that Kyla has a good swing or something like that. And so then my parents were like, oh, well, do you want to go into a couple lessons? So we do. And then I get like addicted, right? And then I would just summertime, like go up to the course with my dad. He would drop me off at the course sometimes and just spend, as a junior, you just get
You
dropped off
live,
at the course during the
yeah, you live
summer.
there.
You stay there all day, you practice, you play 1 or 2 rounds. And so that was it. So then that was like 13 or 14 years old, got into competition. And then just never stops, right? Like the journey never
Oh,
stops. So you go from junior golf. I played like competitive volleyball, so I actually wanted to play volleyball in college. And then I tried out for the local. Uh, it wasn't Okanagan College. It's UBCO now. Anyways, it
yeah.
was OUC at the time. So I've tried out there, didn't make the team. Then I was like, okay, golf is really my thing. But that was a late time to like, I was 18 at the time. So I'm going, okay, so now can I get a golf scholarship? Um, so I was lucky enough to get onto the UBC Vancouver team and did my 4 years there. College golf is just such a cool experience because it's individual but team. And like
Yeah.
I'm a team sport girl,
Yeah.
golf's individual, so like put those two things together is pretty magical. Um, and so college golf was a really cool experience for me. And then when I graduated, I was just like, I'm still not done golfing. Like what's the next level? Like where can I go now? And so that was to play competitively with a goal of eventually turning pro.
Yeah.
And I turned pro again, just kind of like this is the trend when I was 25. So everything was kind of late for me. When you compare to things now where girls are turning pro like some out of high school. Um, and so then I went down that pro route and it took me across the world and back when the Canadian Women's Tour was going, the Australian Women's Tour was where I spent most of my time. Um, and then I retired from that in 2018 fully and got fully into teaching and coaching. And that was a really cool, hard career switch, but really cool and so satisfying. And I just look back on it and I would never regret playing, but now it's so much more like it fills my cup to teach and to help people. And when you're playing, it's a little bit more you focused. And so I've found where I've found where I should be in life. Like teaching and coaching and helping people is like totally where I should be. And I love it.
Well, you can, Kyla, quite candidly, you can tell, right? Like you can tell that's the passion you bring to it because
Totally.
you can't fake it, and it's not for the faint of heart either, right? It's one thing to show up at the course, work a few hours in the shop, and then go teach for 4 hours, and then go home and cook dinner. But that's not what you do. You
No.
are full throttle with academies and programming and innovation and just leading the charge in a lot of different fronts. And we're not even just talking about women's golf. We're just talking about coaching, right? And just being an
100%.
ambassador of the game. And, take this as big a compliment as I can put out there. I mean, you really are, you're doing it right. And you can tell that your passion is in the right space.
That is very nice, Derek. Thank you so much. There's just like not enough hours in the day to do all the things I want to do,
Yeah,
right?
fair.
Like, yeah. So
No,
there you
I
go.
totally get it. And, I watched, I made in my notes here, I watched the video, The Hard Yards.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And it was awesome. And some of the notes, so they asked you to describe yourself
Yep.
and you, as we all tend to do, we go, I don't want to talk about myself, but you did. And there was 4 words that jumped off the page: disciplined, leader, driven. And then I underlined the 4th word. Do you know what the 4th one is?
No.
Curious.
Oh
And
yeah.
I
Totally.
found that, and you are, and I underlined it because I just think that's part of what keeps the fuel burning, right? You're not only curious about just the industry of golf, but I think anything that's wrapped into it, how to coach differently or not even better, just the art of coaching and instruction in the golf industry in general. I loved the word curious.
Yeah, that's totally who I am. Like it's just, and especially if you look at my golf journey, and I have a twin brother, by the way. So like
Oh, I didn't know
we
that.
we both started golfing at the same time. Like
Okay.
you got to give the same opportunities to each twin, right? You got to make it
Yes.
equal. So we
Yes.
both started golfing at the same time, and I was the like, I'm gonna beat you, and like, and then my brother is just like, just out here having a good time. Like I really don't want to be competitive, and I'm just, and so he's athletic but artsy, and I'm kind of like, okay, what is my path to like be the best at this? Um, and so I'm always curious. Like if I was a junior and I like shanked it, sliced it, hooked it, chunked it, I was like, how did that happen? And now that I'm on the other side coaching, like you have people who are curious and you have people who are oblivious. And,
Mhm.
and like, yeah, there's a huge difference, right? So, um, so yeah, curious and everything. Like, just if there's a teaching style that I don't agree with, I, I'm not just gonna not agree. I'm gonna like go down that path and go, well, why don't I agree with this? Like, what are your philosophies? Like, what are the biomechanics behind this? Right? So I'm gonna dive deep, and that's why it takes me a long time to make a decision on certain things. I'm overly analytical. There you go.
That's a good thing. I think, in the people I've chatted with on this podcast, there's been some, not everybody is on the exact same linear path in the industry, and some are very, very good golfers, some are very good managers, instructors, whatever it is. But there's what makes you good at it is your tendencies, or maybe I'm trying to think of a nice way to say your obsessive compulsive traits or
Yeah,
whatever those are.
yes, totally. Yes,
But
that
curious
is
is a
it.
good thing, and a perfectionist isn't the right word, but it's just, diligent maybe
Yeah,
is a better one. But no, you can see it in your style and everything you're doing. Um, so one interesting note I've made for myself just about chatting with you is that, women's golf, holistically, right?
mhm,
Whether we're talking about it 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and just the idea of it. And even in your notes, your pre-interview notes that you were kind enough to fill out, you know, I do want to talk about women's golf, but in the same breath, I don't, because
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
I think, and I couldn't be a bigger advocate for just making golf accessible, not only for everybody, but let's just make the golf course a fun, safe place to be. And I
100%.
think it is one of the most intimidating environments. Forget skill, just booking a tee time and showing up at the first team as a single, right? All
Yep,
that stuff.
yep,
So the reason I say it in this context is because I would be annoyed if every time I got an interview, people were like, well, Derek, redheads in golf, like, boy, I think we should really just dial into this. It's like, well, yeah, okay, but there's more
Yes.
to it, right?
Yes.
Maybe just
Yes.
walk with me down that inclusive side of the game of golf.
Okay, totally. So let's first hit on being a woman and looking at women in golf.
Mhm.
Um, And so I think we're in a really good place right now. Like, there's a lot more women at the forefront. There's a lot more women that can mentor other women, juniors, men, whatever. And I think like we can all feel it in the golf industry. We know there's a lot of new golfers. We know that the percentage of women now entering and staying is way higher than it was when I was the only junior girl golfer at Gallagher's Canyon growing up. Um, and so I think that's fabulous because there's stronger leaders. We're also put into a position now, maybe because of the question of, hey, you're a woman. How's women in golf? We get that question more often, so we're put into a more forward facing, like we got to be a tiny bit louder about that, just so we can do what we're meant to do. Like, let's grow the sport, let's mentor, let's lead, let's do all those things. And then on the other side of the coin, I think being a woman in golf, we also don't want to be pigeonholed into like we only coach women. And so that's the other side of the coin when you're a female in the golf industry as a coach, teacher, instructor, is we want people to know that our skill set is so deep that we can coach anyone, male, female, junior. I've got like semi-pros, pros that I've worked with, and like we've got some technical chops that can handle more than just entry level women. And we can do it all, but we're also not pigeonholed into just women's golf. And then we obviously want to be advocates and ambassadors for women's golf, right? So we just want to be strong leaders in general and grow the game across the board. Um, yeah, and just be good at what we do, like, yeah. I don't know if
I
that
do, and
touched on
it's
where you wanted to go, but
no, it totally is, and moreover, well, it's wherever you want to go. I mean, I I I I really respect your opinion, and you are someone that's done a lot and seen a lot and been in a lot of different situations, playing, coaching, managing, all the things. I always try and look at how we provide golf to everybody and
yeah,
how they feel comfort at a golf course at the entry level, but then also not overcorrecting too far and making sure that once we get someone like yourself that is an elite instructor, that it's not that you can teach the top women in the game. You can teach anybody because you can dance circles around half the instructors in any room. It's just a cool thing. I think we're in a fantastic position to shine a better light on the chops, as you say, right?
yeah. And I think chops is like, if I can pull on that thread a little bit, sure, I've got the technical chops and I understand like how the swing is put together. And then the other like art of coaching is like the novice golfer doesn't need your technical chops. The novice golfer needs encouragement, simple, like break the rules if you need to. They need all those things to support them. So I think it's just like having that, just sense of, when someone walks through the front door of the golf shop, and you're like, oh, that person is just looking for the bathroom. Like they just need to go. I see like the bathroom's over there, or they're looking for like a glove, like
Yes.
they're holding up a rip glove. You're like, oh, that guy needs a glove, so
Yeah.
I got you, right? So just it's having that sense of like, okay, what does this person in front of me need? And it's the same thing when you're just on the lesson tee and someone's like, maybe they're an 8 handicap, but you can tell they're so nervous because they haven't had a lesson in like ages, right? And so in that moment, you don't need to give them technical chops. You need to give them like a joke or a like, hey, how'd you do last round? Like, or how often do you play? Or, like those kind of just soft skills. So I
Completely.
think to be a good like leader in general, you need to be able to read the room a little bit. And then know enough to, when you are giving them something technical, keep it as simple as possible.
That's fantastic. I
Yeah.
even hearing you talk about it, I mean, women are Not to generalize, but typically very good communicators and, have that third, fourth, fifth, and sixth sense on emotions and how people are feeling. And when you've got 60 minutes and people are panicking because they can't get the ball in the air or they're hooking it or whatever it is,
Totally.
you got to read and adapt pretty quickly. So, um, yeah, that's well said. So Predator Ridge coming into the Swing Like a Girl program after AJ, Brody sent you a text, right? He said,
Yeah,
come on
yeah.
in or
He,
come out or whatever it was. And then you step into this monster and you've done so well with it, but also you've done right by it too, by the program and the culture of women's golf in the Okanagan.
yeah, it's been a really cool program to be a part of for now almost a decade. And I think so for people who don't know, AJ Ethorn, played on the LPGA tour, caddied on the PGA tour, came to Predator Ridge and was just like a rock star here. So she like really laid the foundation for Swing Like a Girl. And so I stepped in, like Brody sent me a text message. Actually, it was a tweet. It was a DM on Twitter back in the day.
Of course it was.
And I was still playing like pretty full time. And I had a sponsorship. I had a sponsor who I had like 1 year left on that contract. And I was at a point where I was like, man, my skill set to get from where I am now to like LPGA 3 years into I was like, no, we're ready to like ride out this sponsorship, have a year of just, go play with a free mind, and then step into teaching and coaching and Swing Like a Girl. Cover AJ's mat leave was essentially my job. And it brought me so many skills that first year because I had never taught a lesson previous to that. So it
Oh,
gave me so many reps in all these group classes. Um, to build out how I wanted to be as a coach, to teach me how to teach, basically. And then you're like, wow, I can have such an impact and influence on all of these kind of like first impressions on golf, right? And so then I was just like, I make it my mission to make that first impression like so fun, so motivating, so satisfying, right? And so for me, it's just like Swing Like a Girl is this amazing opportunity to influence someone's path on whether they continue in golf or if someone has like a poor experience in that like first interaction in golf, like it's easy for people to walk away. So for me, Swing Like a Girl started there, and now I'm just like, oh man, we can like blow this thing up, right? And so many other male and female, but again, probably more females in leading women's golf and women's coaching have done such a good job at implementing women's programs across Canada. Um, that it's been cool because other pros will reach out to me and be like, hey, like, what do you do? Like, what do you do in this part of your Swing Like a Girl? Or in this program that you run under the Swing Like a Girl umbrella, how do you do that? So it's been a cool way for me to network with other pros and touch on like, hey, you ran a really cool ladies event, maybe I'll borrow that idea and run it through Swing Like a Girl. So it's been a cool like managing and then as well as obviously teaching, coaching, and growing the game that way. Yeah.
yeah. And even the idea of community, right? Like you create,
Oh, yes.
like listening to you talk, I'm thinking about the evolution of what women's programming historically has been. It was Tuesdays was Women's Day, right?
Right. Yep.
That was that was women's golf. Just it's
Right.
full stop. And
Yeah.
then you would get into it evolved into women's lessons, programming,
Yep.
coaching, whatever that was. And then we're in a place now where there's programming and it's good stuff like Swing Like a Girl, Golf and Tacos. We ran Sips and Tips out of Iron and
Yeah.
Wood. And, there's these things that have a home base in accessibility and kind of breaking down the intimidation walls and all that kind of stuff. But I think in that it creates this wonderful, like little mini community of, oh, I did Swing Like a Girl in, you know, 22. When were you part? And it creates like this alumni um, of students and people that come back year over year or whatever. And I've seen it specifically in golf and tacos and sips and tips here on the
Yeah.
island, where you get this group of girls that are now booking foursomes
Yeah.
because they took a couple and they went out and had a couple drinks after or whatever it was, and now
Totally.
they've got this little comfort circle which guys come by naturally in the industry, right? And now these programs are providing that um, comfort and
Oh yeah.
access for women.
100%. That is like totally what it's
Yeah,
all about in Swing Like a Girl is like making that community, allowing it to be comfortable, um, and just to be, they might, oh yeah, we were both in the same Swing Like a Girl camp a few years ago. I remember that story or that introduction you just made, right? So, that's totally what it's all about. And then, the community of like Kate with Golf and Tacos. I'm cheering for her and Iron Lady, Lindsay Knowlton back east, like just so it's supportive and there's room for all of us is what I like to like when other younger female pros ask me about like what about should I start this or this, but what about this person running this program? I'm like, hey, there is room for all of us running all of these women's programs, and you're gonna create your little crew and it's gonna grow and grow and grow, and there's room for another crew just down the road, grow and grow and grow, right? So I think it's just really important to remember to be supportive of like our neighbors and our coaching and instruction and PGA community, and to support people who are running similar programs just because there's room for everyone, and it's way more fun when you cheer people on, right?
totally agree.
Like,
Totally agree.
yeah.
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 The stat I read recently was 45% of new golfers. And now this is going to sound selfish, but it's not. 45% of new golfers in indoor golf are women. So almost half of people that
Cool.
are doing indoor golf, and I believe it comes from the environment. It's a room.
Yeah.
There's just it gives you that little access point. So I look at indoor golf as a business to that transition to booking a tee time. I always think of, I'm not a golfer. I am a golfer. This is my opinion of who a golfer is. If you book a tee time, then you're a golfer.
Mm,
Why I say it like that is I'm trying to get any student that's new to the game, guy or girl, into
yeah.
that mode of knowing how to book a tee time,
Yeah.
whether you show up as a single or not, but showing up maybe with two, and what it's like to play with another twosome who knows who they are, right? And just
Right.
getting comfortable in that environment, then we've created a golfer. And so
I like
it's
that, D.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fun way to think about it, right?
It
Because
is.
it's not to say that people on the driving range aren't golfers. I'm just saying they're getting ready to play the sport, and I think the
Yes.
sport is getting out there and just having fun.
Yes, because you haven't really experienced golf until
Sure.
you play on a
Totally.
golf course, right? Because
Yep.
I'll have clients who just at the range, and I'm like, give me some feedback. Like, how'd you score in your last round? They're like, I haven't played a round in 10 years. I'm like, what?
See, yeah, yeah,
Then that's
uh,
not golf,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally right. And I
Yeah.
think I look at when I'm really having that, God, yeah, I love this sport moment. It's usually in the evening playing with some friends. I could not tell you what my score was, but it's just, man, it's just so good to be out here.
Yeah.
So playing, I did want to touch on it briefly because you've mentioned a few times you took quite a good run at it, and I think you and your nature, you really had to go for it to make sure it what either was or wasn't going to be your path, right? What I'm curious about is what was the hardest rounds you played? Like, were they the high pressure rounds? Were they multi-day events? Were they like what really painted you in a corner as a golfer when you were on tour?
Yeah. So, I mean, that feels like a lifetime ago, but it was really an important part of like how I got here, obviously. Um, and I would say the hardest. So I always found like, let's say I'm going out on the road for like 3 or 4 events in a row. That first tournament was always like trying too hard, like putting pressure on myself to perform. And my sweet spot was always like halfway through the second tournament. And then the third tournament was like, let's go. Fourth tournament, if there were four in a row, usually that's a bit of a long stretch, but
Yes.
would be kind of the 2.5 to 4 weeks would be my sweet spot. And that first week is always just like, man, you're trying too hard. Like, when you're in the flow state or when you're in the zone and you're just like, life is good. You're walking like you're doing the little Rory bop down the fairway. You're not trying too hard. It's just all coming to you naturally, right? And you've got no expectations, your mind's in a good place, right? So like when I was in those big moments, my 10 like Q school for me was a nightmare. Like it was just so much pressure. Like your entire rest of the next year was all dependent on that 1 week. And for me, that was just like not my jam, not my jam. Um, yeah. So I don't know, just for me, it was finding like I'll go back to like, man, when I was 6 under after 13 at the Legacy and that one event on a mini tour, and then you like clue into like, holy shit, oh man, on like
Yeah.
15 coming in, you're just trying to like guide it in. And all right,
Yeah.
well, I
Yeah.
finished
Yeah.
at 2 or 3 under instead of 6 under. And right. So it's just like learning how to handle those moments under pressure in a heightened environment when you are playing really well. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I gotta hold on to this thing. I gotta finish this thing out. That's where I think nowadays, there's so much more training around mental performance where I was just trying to do it all on my own really back then. Like I did have a mental performance coach, but I think just knowing how to train properly nowadays for those kind of things is really powerful. And I didn't have it back then. I tried to do it all on my own. Yeah.
And but that was, I mean, looking back, I mean, but that was the playbook. Like
Yeah.
you didn't really, it's just how it was done, right? It sounds a little old school, but it was just, no, you go out there and the lowest number wins. So go
Right.
shoot it, right?
And you're living the mini tour life. And so you're trying to cut corners with costs and
What was the best food? Like, where would you go and you would just breakfast, lunch, dinner? It was like, oh man, I love playing here.
we had the Thailand Masters.
Oh,
Just like you'd have like some sort of fish soup or something for breakfast. And like that was like my ultimate fave. It's so weird, but it was my favorite. And then one of my friends, Brittany Bomar, and we went to like a night market and got like a plastic bag of curry just from like a market. And they give you a
yeah,
bag of rice and a bag of curry. So then we go
yeah,
take it and sit on a bench. And like 2 minutes in, we're just like sweating because it's like, just like the hottest curry. We're like, why did we do this? But it's a true Thailand experience, right?
cool.
So yeah, there you go.
Perfect. That's,
There's
yes,
tons of stories from the tour world life, but man, is it different now.
yes, but also I mean, the struggle is real. Full swing on Netflix. I mean, we're looking at the top 0.01% of people on tour. I think, I don't know. Did you see that bit about Rory's flight schedule for the 2, 3 weeks before the Masters? Like,
This
he-
year. Yeah.
yeah, he
Yeah, yeah.
flew in,
Yep.
played, went home, put
Played,
Poppy
go.
down,
Yep.
flew back. You know what I mean? So that's
That's
it's not
not
totally relatable for us just
no.
yet, but the idea of, sleeping in your car and having to grind it out and eating food out of bags, night market in Thailand. And that's one thing about tour golf that I don't think people understand is that it is a individual sport. You travel, you do all these things, and then you've got to do it for 2, 3, 4 days in a row, potentially. And if you don't do well, you don't get to keep doing it. You don't get to eat well. Yeah, there's pressure. It's like,
Oh yeah.
I would feel a lot more comfortable if I had a T2 going into my second leg of this road trip, right?
Yep. 100%. Yep. That's where just sponsors and those kind of things are really important. But it's all an
Yeah.
experience.
Well, and then it hardens you a little bit in all the right ways, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, you're we're heading into 2026. You're living that mom life. You're juggling one of the most robust programs in the country at one of the best resorts in the country with some of the best team members in the country. I worked at Predator for a couple of years, and I think of special. It comes to mind the idea when you're there, coming
Hmm.
over Commonage and just seeing the sunrise. Describe your upcoming season. Is there something on the calendar that's jumping out to you, or is it just let's go crush it again this year?
Yeah, Predator Ridge is like such a special experience, as you say. It truly is an experience. And so just to know that it's our job to give people an experience
Mm.
is kind of how I create our programs and protocols. And it's just like we want to be world class, right? So um we've got lots of good great programs that are already in place and kind of finding our stride that way. Obviously Swing Like a Girl, like our calendar for Swing Like a Girl has plenty of, like, we run probably 8 to 10 clinics per week for Swing Like a Girl. We've got
Wow.
Swing Like a Girl day camps that are like a couple times a month. This year we've got three 3-day Swing Like a Girl golf schools that we're rolling out. Um, and then a women's golf day obviously is kind of a highlight event for Swing Like a
Oh,
Girl. So
yeah,
I think it's just like we just want to offer great programs that allow people to get into it, whether they're a novice, whether they're club golfer and they've been a club golfer for ages. And then like those 3-day immersive golf schools now are, you can get a low handicap in there and they're going to take away a lot of stuff, right? And then we'll obviously get the whole gamut of handicaps and skill levels. But um that's our Swing Like a Girl calendar, so that's busy. And then we've got our private lesson calendar that's super busy. Season long calendar, Swing Like a Kid is what our junior program's called,
Swing
and
Like a Kid.
Swing Like a Kid.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've
Cool.
got we've got camps and kind of spring programming and all the things, right? We're just trying to tick all the boxes, we're trying to make, like, if someone's like, hey, do you run this kind of program? Gotta be a yes,
Yep, 100%. What
right?
so talking about Kyla, what are you doing not at the golf course? You get a weekend, the phone's shut off, the world doesn't exist. What are you going to go do?
Play golf.
Are you,
Like, oh my gosh. Isn't that
where are
the
you
thing
going?
about
So are you going to
being,
go on a roadie, or where are you going to play?
oh, so the husband and I would love to go down and play Sand Valley. Like, that's my next
Mm,
bucket list, gotta play there trip. I don't
yeah,
know if it's gonna happen this year, but
yeah,
um, yeah, maybe Gamble Sands, like get away a little bit. Um, but isn't that the thing about being a golfer? Like, it's not like we're a banker and we work 9 to 5 and then we play golf on the side. Like, golfers want to play golf,
that's right.
right? So yeah, I mean, just being at this stage, I'm in the season of life where once I'm done work, I've got that mom guilt. I'm trying to get back to the house to see the little guy before bed, and we're trying to spend more time, obviously, together as a family. And this season is busy for me, so the winter time we spend a lot more time together. But um, yeah, if we can get out and play a little bit of golf, that's awesome. But also if we can just relax as a family or go to the beach or go to the park, like, just as good. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
Gamble Sands is unbelievable.
I have not played the new one yet. I'm excited.
Like the little retreat meccas on the Pacific side of the world are stepping up their game, right? Like it
Mm,
used to have to be anything you want to do was going east, and I mean going down to Bandon's one thing,
yeah.
but there's a lot of cool little spots, and Gamble Sands is one of them, and man, even sliding out to Gaza Ranch or something if you can get a little bit
Mm,
further east, like
yep,
these little trippies that
yep,
make take your time getting there and take your time getting back.
totally.
It's kind of what we're in the industry for, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
my favorite part of the podcast is just quickly touching on the idea of mentors and people along the way and giving it the platform that it deserves to open it up to you to talk about maybe a few individuals along the way that supported you, gave you the right guidance, and were mentors for you in your career.
Yeah. So obviously the team at Predator gave me a chance when I knew absolutely nothing at teaching or for teaching, coaching, instruction. Um, so they gave me a place and a space to grow. As far as the instruction mentoring, my last 3 years I went down to Australia. I would just pick and choose some coaches through the TPI network or even anyone I just saw on Instagram or socials, and I would just shoot them a DM or an email and say, "Hey, can I shadow you for a few days?" Um, and then I worked in New Zealand for 2 seasons as well, kind of after I had retired from playing. And so I would get the season at Predator as a brand new pro, and then another summer season in New Zealand. So I would work at a course, or I worked in like a club fitting shop. And then I just go on my like little weekend trips and mentor coaches. And I didn't know. Like I mentored like a 3D guy who had like the AMM system, and I'm like, oh yeah, so what's that measuring? And so I was so in over my head, and I didn't come out of there with like knowing pronation, supination, like all of those fancy terms at the time. Um, but slowly you hear those same terms again during another shadow or another lesson. You're like, oh, that's what that means, right? So I think just diving in and like don't be shy, ask people, and like I've had people come and mentor me. I'm never gonna say no. Um, and then I was at a turning point like during those COVID years where I just like didn't know how to teach indoors and I didn't like teaching indoors and I was like missing a
You
piece.
did do a good job of it, though. I must say, like your IG game was strong. Like you would teach in front of a door, if I remember. It was in a hallway or a bedroom or something, right?
I still do that,
And I
but
gotta
yeah.
say, you made the best of it. Like you made it not feel like it was a bush league. Like I don't know what I'm doing, but here we go. Like I will call you out. I did follow along, and it was quite good because you again going back to it, you're a good communicator and you're knowledgeable, and so you could tell. So don't cut yourself short on
So
the quality.
I thank you. I would say I try and I like to share, but like at the beginning of COVID when all the things were happening and we had just come back from Australia and I think I can't remember, but I was just like I was missing a piece of instruction and I was like, why am I not quite getting people to where I want them to get to performance wise? And I was at a tipping point of like, I almost like, because I couldn't get the results, I was like ready to quit. Like, I would be in my office late at night, like looking at the same swing over and over and over. And of course, you don't know what you don't know. So I'm looking at the same thing going, well, I don't have any new answers. Um, and so I was up at a pretty low point where I was like, I don't think I got this. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to give myself one last shot to see if I can like learn what I need to learn to allow people to perform the way I think progress should happen, and fill the gap in like one more little biomechanics space in my brain. And of course, I know you're never going to find all the answers, but I did an online mentorship with Shaheen Nakjiavani, who's like one of the original like online space guys. He's out of Quebec. And that really allowed me to like buy into my career and say, yep, we're doing this. Like 200% we're doing this. But it gave me the confidence coming out of like an 8 month mentorship with him to be like, wow, I can now coach anywhere from a novice to a tour player and be really confident that I'm doing the right thing. And so that was my turning point of like, I'm on the precipice of going out of the industry or staying in. And that allowed me to stay in because I felt that much more confident from that mentorship. So he like is the reason why I'm still here today.
I love it, and I'm glad you said his name because it is in my notes. And Shaheen, I could get that. And then the last name was like, you know what? Maybe Kyla will mention it. Maybe she won't, but she's going to pronounce it better than I ever would. So thank you for mentioning that because it pulls out to the science and the art, right? The science
Yeah,
of golf and the art of golf and what's in the middle.
totally.
And it's like everything, it's not black and white, it's the gray area, and the gray area is your specialty. And I think that that side of your tipping point, your aha moment, whatever that is, I think it was an above average one, if we could call it that.
Yeah, no, it was, thank you. And I just think like a lot of times we'll go into courses, right? Because I'm that curious mind. We'll go into a course and like this is going to give me all the answers. And it never does, right? But it gives you the connections, it gives you the people connections. So that's important. Um, and it just allows you to continue to grow and then you have more questions and then right? So it's just like never stop learning, never stop reaching out. Like I've learned so much from just like someone will post something and I might not know who they are. And then I'll just message them and be like, "Hey, so how'd you get to that result? Or like how'd you do that?" And they'll share their answer, right? So like that's the beauty and the power of like everything kind of being online nowadays too.
I would like, if anyone is listening to this and they want to send a message in, and their specialization is psychology and how the brain and human nature works, I think it is ingrained in us when someone is genuinely asking you a question to learn something that you are already doing or you have a passion for. It's like going to pick a convention, a boat show, it doesn't matter. And someone else is also at the boat show, which probably means they also like boats. And you start talking to them about boats and you ask them about their cleaning tips, or I clearly don't have a boat, but
Yeah.
the idea is that with this connection you have with someone towing the same line as you, it's unbelievable. And you think about, like, I've people reach out to me about the indoor golf scene, and just it could be any one thing, and I'm happy to chat with them about it. But I would argue I'm almost drawn to it. The idea
Yeah.
that someone kind of cares or wants to know more about the thing that I kind of know a couple of things about, or I'm at least interested in. So I I think it's a great takeaway to just maybe not feel guilty about doing or not doing it, like reaching out, but man, is it a good idea to just put yourself
Yeah.
out there and ask a question or two.
Totally, like, ask the question and yeah, you'll at least make a connection to another human, which feels good, right? Because a lot of that's not happening anymore. Um, and then, like, I remember in my early phases of my career where I was like, "Man," just again, searching for all that information, I'm like, "I need to." It was kind of in a panic state, but then I'd, like, register for the Golf Fitness Summit in Florida and just go by myself, and, like, I don't even know if I would do that like now. But in that, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to that. And then, you kind of got to step out of your comfort zone a little bit and just force
Yes.
yourself into these new scenarios. And all of a sudden, you're learning, you're meeting new people. So you're not only growing as a professional development, you're personally taking that awkward, nervous growth step into like blossoming in your personal growth too, right? So I think it's just important to like, that feels a bit uncomfortable. Maybe that means I should try it instead of like, oh, going away from that feeling, right?
If that was the case, and I am all in on this logic, it's like the first tee. Imagine if you got to the first, you're
Totally.
like, ugh, there's people watching. I don't think I'm going to do well. You know what? Nah, I'm going to go for a walk instead. And then you leave, right?
Right.
But what do? You hit the shot. And
Yeah.
next thing
You
you
show
know,
up.
exactly. And so a couple of real quick takeaways from the interviews or chats I've had on the podcast, or just in general. Some of the people that have done really cool things in their lives have got in over their head. I mean, you mentioned it
Mm,
a couple times, and I think it's a good thing. I think no one has been fully prepared for everything they've done. And if they have, then they're probably not risking enough. And so
yeah.
I think it's a good quality to feel that, like, fake it till you make it.
Yep.
And then putting yourself in the weirdest, like you said, like, I don't know if I would do that now. I think you would,
I
but it just
would.
might not look the same, right?
Totally.
Um, Different things make us nervous now than they did 10
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
Um, but it's not even a risk. I just think it's like the first tee. It's like if it makes you a little uncomfortable, you're probably
It's
doing it right,
probably good
right?
for
Like
you. Yep.
there's
100%.
and you got a network of people that'll support you, or at least, I mean, that sounds a little kumbaya, but whatever. Go do something, make a mistake, fall down, but just go do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think especially early on in your career too, like be a yes person, um, for growth.
What a good, you know what? That's that. Thank you for saying that. I have career advice, and it's very quick, and it's that.
Yeah,
It's just say yes more than you think you should, and
totally.
look
And
out.
then as you get busier, you have to be able to say no at the right time. But still have a growth mindset for like, is this making me a little nervous because I probably should do it? Or is this, and you have that in your gut, right? You're like, you're either nervous because you should do it, or you're like, your gut sinks because it's like you gotta say no. And only because you gotta hold your boundary and all the other things you have going on in your life as a seasoned professional and you already have your lists, right?
Yep.
Um, yeah. But when you're young, like definitely be a yes person. And even when you're more seasoned, you know when you should say yes and try new things.
Yeah, and it's just you say yes differently, right? Because you
Yes.
have a little bit more, a few more calluses on the hands, right? So you know kind of where to position yourself. So you're gonna play one round of golf this summer in BC, and you have never played there before. What are you gonna target?
Oh my gosh.
I came up with that one on the fly. So
Okay. I played a lot of places in BC.
there, you can go Alberta if you
Um,
want.
oh, Alberta if I want.
Well,
Kananaskis.
oh yeah,
Have not played there.
oh yeah, yeah. And now I
Really want to
know
play there.
Bob Paley, who used to be there. I believe he's retired. He was, or at least moved on. He was there for 20, 30 years. There's a lot of nice professionals, great professionals. He's the mole, and hopefully, and just through some sheer luck, he hears me saying this because he always treated me so well when I was in Jasper. That facility, that place up there is awesome. The idea that that could have not existed again after the floods
Oh man.
is jaw
Yeah.
dropping.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's where I'd go.
Okay, road trip
I
to
think that's where I'd
Kananaskis.
go.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
deal. What else? I don't want to steal a part of the podcast away from a chat that you want to have. Is there anything?
I mean, we've covered a lot.
Yeah,
So I don't know. It'll come to me when I'm driving home, be like, damn it,
yeah. Like, oh, Derek, could you
for-
please edit this in?
forgot
It's
about
like,
this.
yeah, AI can do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do appreciate, and I mean this kind of like, I hope you feel, I hope you feel the industry love, but
Thank
moreover,
you.
keep it up.
Yeah.
We're all going to have to start working harder if you start being more lazy. So
No, thanks, Dee. Um, I brought a club in case you
yeah,
wanted to do any tips.
yeah.
But
Could you hold on? So no, can you please?
yeah, we
So
can.
now hold on. So what's your hot tip for? So
For
it's a
what?
wedge, right? Is that a wedge there?
Oh, it's just a club. It's a club. Yeah,
So
I can do whatever.
what's your hot tip that's going to take 4 strokes off the game for only people that watch the
Oof,
podcast?
4 strokes off the game.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, probably your classic slicer, keeping it in the fairway.
Okay.
4 strokes. Okay, so
This is
I
the
don't know.
best, Kyla. You're the best.
Okay, so let's get that out of the way. How am I here? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, I would say obviously classic. We need a good grip, people. Okay? We got to have a good grip. So, get your hands on there. This hand is usually way too weak for slicers. So, we need the logo of your glove, like 45-degree angle. Okay? And then this hand just matches. All right. From there, here's an easy one. Square your shoulders or over square your shoulders. Most slicers are hanging out like this with their shoulders way over here open. Okay. So let's overly square your shoulders. That's like a hack on getting more rotation, like immediately. Okay. So square those shoulders. Okay. Make a make a turn. Like make a good turn. All right. There's not going to be any lifting or just like pulling this arm back. It's got to be an authentic turn with your body. Okay? So that's the first like major move. Square the shoulders, a good authentic turn. All right, from here, we got to shift your butt, but don't twist it. Just shift it. Okay? So we're just shifting. As I shift, my hands stay back here. They don't go like this. Here. Okay, so a little shift, and then I'm gonna hit this chair, and then we're just gonna like fling. I use fling a lot, not a technical term, but I use it a lot. We're gonna fling it out this way. Okay, we're not gonna like chop it, hiya, over here. We're gonna turn, shift, and then unwind. All right, there you go, slicers.
That's fantastic. If anybody has seen me hit my driver, everything in the world, I'm looking, I'm like, oh, this is great. But also like, oh yeah, okay, that feeling. My favorite part of that was the like getting your shoulders like overcorrecting a little bit, because you and I
Yes.
both know you say, okay, well, let's square up those shoulders. And I was like, okay, how's that? You're like, you haven't moved, right?
Right.
So getting that overcorrection, but the
Yes.
idea of moving forward and then like, it's like cracking a whip. It's like, you got to like
Yeah.
get the sequence going, baby.
Yeah, I mean, people get it wrong because they think they're like, okay, my lower body has to go first, and then like crank their hips, and then everything just goes out in front of them.
It's
And
like a spinny top, right? As opposed
yeah,
to a move.
and they gotta feel the weight of the club. You just gotta just let it happen. Don't stop doing all this like I gotta hit it. Like let it just sling. I use slingshot a lot. Like
Oh,
let your body create the slingshot, people.
so everybody has to PayPal, Venmo, whatever your, it's that was at least an $89 tip right there. So
Just one follow on Instagram, one like on a video. Whenever I get my YouTube channel up, please
yes, and you
subscribe.
should, and it is
I
daunting, but
should. It's like a 1 year goal. Get it going.
deal. Well, I tell you what, today's what it is, and I'm gonna put
Okay.
a little alarm in my
Okay.
calendar. We're gonna check in a year, okay?
Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Dee.
Kyla, I candidly was excited to chat with you. Thank you for your insights, your stories, everything in between. You're one of the best in the industry, and I can't wait to follow along for everything you do and be along for the ride.
Hey, Dee, appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything you do.